Big up and bless up. Promoter Ganja with another episode. The episode yeah, have to inform people how artists contract work. Contract, artist agreement, or it's called a rider. Now, how these things work? Reason why I want to explain how this work because me see Vybz Kartel get a lawsuit filed against him by the promoter from Trinidad in regards to a show where Vybz Kartel cancelled because the promoter has breached the contract. Also, we see Kraff and a promoter from New York named Galdiez have differences saying want back him money because Kraff never show up. Now, when you look in the fact of the matter, the promoter from New York, Galdiez, has breached the contract. Therefore, he can't get back his money. As far as with the cartel one, the promoter in the Trinidad lawsuit issue or whatever that situation is, the promoter has breached the contract. So in these two cases, it's not the artist is at fault. It's the two promoters. All right, I could explain. I'm a promoter. I've been a promoter for years now. I am familiar with how event work and artist contract or a rider. I'm very familiar because I've dealt with numerous. Now, when booking an artist, normally you go through the manager, sometimes the artist himself, or sometimes a booking agency. Now, they will send you a contract. In that contract, there is some agreement that both parties should fulfill. You have to abide by whatever is written in the contract. Now, make we just go off the basis. In our contract, typically, it's a 50% before the event and day of the event, or a week or a month before the event, we want the other 50%, which they want the full amount. So if the artist say want $1 million for the event come perform, that million has to be paid in full before the artist perform. If it's not paid in full, the artist don't have to perform, and the artist also can sue the promoter if the artist show up at the event and him didn't get the full amount of money. That artist can sue the promoter for the full amount of money. Now you see that 50% they were initially put up, the first half, that is to hold the date. You have to have a very good reason to get that back. You have to have legitimate reason to get back that 50% there. If it's the promoter fault while something happened, maybe the artist never show or anything. Once it's the promoter fault, you can get back that 50% there. But normally that 50% is to hold that date that another promoter could have booked. You see me? This is business. So think about it. If you are an artist and you do business and you say, all right, to hold this date so another promoter can't get it, you need 50% up front to hold that date before. That means say I stop another promoter from getting that date. That's why it's so hard to get that initial 50% block. All right. Now, the other 50%, you see, if that other 50% is not provided before the artist hit the stage, then the promoter breached the contract. Promoter breached the contract. Now, back in the days, it used to be the 50% upfront for hold the dates, etc., and the other half normally before the artist hit the stage. So back in the days how contract used to work, before the artist touch the stage, him get the other half. But with the whole heap of incident and bad business, that change for years now. Now how they do it is like a week up to a month before the event, the artist want the other 50% of the money before him even enter the venue. If the artist don't get that 50% before the date, he don't have to come to your show. He don't have to forward none at all, because you, the promoter, has breached the contract. So when you get a contract, when you promoter, when you get a contract, you can't work with assumption. You have to read the contract in its entirety, so you can fully comprehend what is going on in that contract. You can't work for assumption, because with assumption, ignorance is no excuse to the law. What the court will acknowledge and will even pay attention to is black and white. You can't go court with verbal agreement. That no work out. None at all. You see me? So the judge are gonna look for one eye contract. So if you the promoter or even the artist breach the contract, anybody breach the contract, they're in the wrong. The one that breached the contract will have to suffer the consequences. So let me show you how a artist can breach a contract. If you pay the artist in full amount of money before the show, before him perform, depends what specified in the contract. If you pay him 100% and him don't show up at your venue, or him show up and decides him not performing, he has, unless he got very good reason why him can't perform or why him never show up, that artist has breached the contract. Therefore, the promoter can sue him for future earnings and all his expenses. All expense. Now, when a promoter do a show, it's best to have your show money, your overhead money, all overhead money. Overhead money includes the amount that the artist charge to do an event. You can't depend on if or when you make money at the door or at the bar, you decide to pay the artist out of that. It no works so. Them days are over with. Them days are over with, because you think you can flop, which has nothing to do with the artist. That is why Jackie or they are jail now. Me always I mention that, because of this style of business that's very outdated. I've done show with numerous artists, and me speak of Bounty Killer. Remember Banky link me and say, where the rest of the money there? So me know a pre-back in idea style of business where when the artist reach, then you can give him the other half before him enter the stage. Them days are over with. And I don't blame them days are to be over, because it comes with too much, you know. Also, when you do business such as getting the money a week before the event, it's better for you, the promoter, and the artist. Because if you're working with a different bank, if you not have the same bank, you're not getting that money the same day. It'll take a couple of days. Therefore, the artist team did not get that money. You see me? So all that. So why them do it now is to ensure that the artists get the money. I know it take all 3-4 days to a week for bank transfer. So if we cover everybody, that is why. You see me? How an artist can sue you, the promoter, now? Did I speak of that already? How artists can sue you, the promoter, is if you don't pay the full amount of money specified in a contract. Yes, if you don't pay the full amount, him don't have to show up, and him can sue you for the balance due. That is how contract agreement. Now, me can tell you this early. With Vybz Kartel case, the promoter and I wrong, because I never paid the full amount requested by Vybz Kartel team. With Kraff incident, the promoter is also in the wrong, because he didn't pay the full